It is permissible to use a cord and plug connection for a residential gas heater, as outlined in the NFPA 54 National Fuel Gas Code. Specifically refer to Section 12.10 in the 2023 edition of the Code, Section 12.10 in the 2020 edition, and Section 12.10 in the 2018 edition. However, certain exceptions and conditions must be met to ensure compliance and safety. Firstly, the gas heater must be equipped with a cord and plug that is specifically listed for use with gas appliances. This listing ensures that the components have been tested and approved for the intended application, providing a level of assurance regarding their safety and performance. Secondly, the cord and plug must be appropriately rated for the electrical requirements of the heater. This means that the cord and plug must be capable of handling the voltage, amperage, and wattage demands of the heater without overheating or posing a fire hazard. Thirdly, the cord and plug connection must be readily accessible for servicing or replacement. This accessibility is crucial for maintenance, troubleshooting, and potential repairs. Ensuring easy access to the connection points allows qualified technicians to perform necessary work without difficulty or risk. It is important to note that local building codes may impose additional requirements or restrictions on cord and plug connections for residential gas heaters. These local codes may vary depending on the specific jurisdiction and can address issues such as permissible cord lengths, grounding requirements, or the types of receptacles that are allowed. Therefore, it is advisable to consult with the local building department to determine if there are any specific regulations that apply to residential gas heater installations. Furthermore, compliance with the National Electrical Code, or NEC, is also essential when dealing with electrical connections for gas heaters. The NEC provides comprehensive standards for electrical installations, including wiring methods, grounding, overcurrent protection, and equipment listing requirements. Some key areas to consider within the NEC include Article 400, which covers flexible cords and cables, Article 422, which addresses appliances, and Article 250, which deals with grounding and bonding. When selecting a cord and plug for a gas heater, it is imperative to ensure that they are listed by a recognized testing laboratory, such as Underwriters Laboratories, or Electrical Testing Laboratories, or ETL. This listing indicates that the components have been evaluated for safety and performance and meet the applicable standards. The cord should be of the appropriate type for the application, typically a flexible cord such as type so, or similar, depending on the environment and intended use. The ampacity of the cord must be sufficient to carry the heater's electrical load without exceeding its rated capacity. Overcurrent protection, such as a circuit breaker or fuse, is also critical for safeguarding the electrical circuit and preventing damage or fire in the event of a fault. The overcurrent protection device should be sized appropriately for the heater's electrical requirements and the ampacity of the circuit conductors. Grounding is another essential aspect of electrical safety for gas heaters. The grounding system provides a low impedance path for fault current to return to the source, helping to trip the overcurrent protection device and prevent electrical shock hazards. The gas heater should be properly grounded in accordance with the NEC requirements, typically by connecting the metal chassis of the heater to the grounding electrode system. The grounding conductor should be of the appropriate size and material as specified in the NEC and should be securely connected to the heater and the grounding system. Receptacles used for gas heaters should be of the grounding type and should be properly installed and maintained. The receptacle should be securely mounted and should make good electrical contact with the plug. Damaged or worn receptacles should be replaced promptly to prevent electrical hazards. Proper wiring methods are also essential for ensuring the safety and reliability of electrical connections for gas heaters. The wiring should be installed in accordance with the NEC requirements, using appropriate conductors, raceways, and boxes. Conductors should be properly sized for the electrical load and should be protected from physical damage. Connections should be made using approved methods, such as wire connectors or terminals, and should be tightened securely. Regular inspections and maintenance are important for identifying and addressing any potential problems with electrical connections for gas heaters. Inspections should include checking for damaged cords, loose connections, and signs of overheating or corrosion. Maintenance should include cleaning and tightening connections, replacing damaged components, and verifying the proper operation of safety devices. If any electrical work is performed on a gas heater, it should be done by a qualified electrician who is familiar with the NEC and local building codes. Electrical work can be dangerous, and it is important to take proper precautions to prevent electrical shock and fire hazards. The electrician should use appropriate personal protective equipment, or PPE, such as gloves and safety glasses, and should follow safe work practices. In addition to the electrical requirements, there are also gas piping and venting requirements that must be met for residential gas heaters. These requirements are typically covered in the NFPA 54 National Fuel Gas Code and local building codes. Gas piping should be of the appropriate size and material for the gas pressure and flow rate, and should be installed in accordance with the code requirements. Venting systems should be properly designed and installed to ensure the safe removal of combustion products from the heater. The venting system should be inspected regularly to ensure that it is free of obstructions and is functioning properly. Carbon monoxide, or CO, detectors should be installed in the vicinity of gas heaters to provide an early warning of any potential CO leaks. CO is a colorless, odorless gas that can be deadly, so it is important to have a working CO detector to protect occupants from CO poisoning. The CO detector should be tested regularly to ensure that it is functioning properly, and the battery should be replaced as needed. Proper installation, maintenance, and operation of residential gas heaters are essential for ensuring the safety and comfort of occupants. By following the applicable codes and standards, and by taking appropriate precautions, it is possible to minimize the risks associated with gas heaters and to enjoy the benefits of efficient and reliable heating. Furthermore, when considering the installation of a cord and plug-connected gas heater, it is important to evaluate the specific application and determine if this type of connection is suitable. Factors to consider include the location of the heater, the availability of electrical outlets, and the potential for physical damage to the cord and plug. In some cases, a hard-wired connection may be a more appropriate option, particularly if the heater is located in a high-traffic area or if there is a risk of the cord being damaged. A hard-wired connection provides a more secure and permanent connection, reducing the risk of accidental disconnection or damage. Additionally, it is important to consider the aesthetic aspects of the installation. A cord and plug connection may be less visually appealing than a hard-wired connection, particularly if the cord is visible and detracts from the overall appearance of the room. In such cases, it may be possible to conceal the cord behind furniture or inside a wall, but this should be done in accordance with the NEC requirements to ensure that the cord is protected from physical damage and is accessible for servicing. When selecting a location for the gas heater, it is important to consider the clearances required by the manufacturer and the applicable codes. Gas heaters typically require certain clearances from combustible materials, such as walls, ceilings, and furniture, to prevent fire hazards. These clearances should be clearly marked on the heater and should be strictly adhered to during installation. Additionally, it is important to ensure that the heater is located in a well-ventilated area to prevent the buildup of combustion products. The area should have adequate air supply to support proper combustion and to prevent the formation of carbon monoxide. If the heater is located in a confined space, such as a closet or small room, it may be necessary to provide additional ventilation to ensure that the air supply is adequate. The gas heater should be installed on a level surface to ensure proper operation and to prevent tipping or instability. If the surface is not level, it may be necessary to use shims or other leveling devices to create a level platform for the heater. The heater should be securely fastened to the surface to prevent it from moving or falling over. This is particularly important in areas where there is a risk of earthquakes or other seismic activity. Before installing a gas heater, it is important to obtain all necessary permits and approvals from the local building department. These permits ensure that the installation meets the applicable codes and standards and that it is safe and compliant. The building department may require inspections at various stages of the installation process to verify that the work is being done properly. Failure to obtain the necessary permits and approvals can result in fines and penalties, and may also invalidate the warranty on the gas heater. Regular maintenance of a gas heater is essential for ensuring its safe and efficient operation. Maintenance should include cleaning the burner and heat exchanger, inspecting the venting system, and checking the gas pressure and flame characteristics. The maintenance schedule should be based on the manufacturer's recommendations and the frequency of use of the heater. It is also important to have the gas heater inspected annually by a qualified technician to ensure that it is in good working order and that there are no potential safety hazards. The technician should check for gas leaks, carbon monoxide leaks, and other problems that could pose a risk to occupants. In addition to the technical aspects of gas heater installation and maintenance, it is also important to educate occupants about the safe operation of the heater. Occupants should be instructed on how to operate the heater properly, how to recognize potential problems, and what to do in the event of a gas leak or other emergency. They should also be informed about the dangers of carbon monoxide poisoning and the importance of having a working CO detector. By providing occupants with the necessary knowledge and information, it is possible to create a safer and more comfortable living environment. In summary, the use of a cord and plug connection for a residential gas heater is generally permissible, subject to compliance with the NFPA 54 National Fuel Gas Code, the NEC, and local building codes. It is essential to ensure that the cord and plug are properly listed, rated, and accessible, and that all applicable safety requirements are met. Additionally, it is important to consider the specific application and determine if a cord and plug connection is the most appropriate option or if a hardwired connection would be more suitable. Regular inspections, maintenance, and occupant education are also crucial for ensuring the safe and efficient operation of gas heaters.